Hey everyone, welcome to another video. This time I am going to try something different and do kind of like a draw with me in real time. So this weekend I've just been a bit too tired to put out a fully edited video, so I thought I would do something that was a little less stressful. And I had mentioned in my previous video that I was thinking of maybe doing a Draw With Me mini-series just to kind of try things out. So that's what we're going to do today. And I'm using the ArtSnacks August box supplies. So I have these Sennelier acrylic paints. And these paint pouches are actually really interesting. They're kind of therapeutic because they're like really squishy. So that's what I'll be using. And then I also will have this Winsor & Newton, which is also from the August box. So might as well knock out two birds with one stone and do kind of like an ArtSnacks challenge for this month, as well as just kind of doing a de-stress type of doodle. So I've been playing around with some flowers, which I drew yesterday. And these are heavily inspired by Archer and Olive on Instagram. So I believe they do mostly bullet journal products and supplies, but their posts are always so pretty because they like draw these flowers, and I always want to try them because they look really neat. And so I'm going to try to do something like that today, kind of do some color blocking with the acrylic paint, and then use the Winsor & Newton to draw some flowers over the paint once it dries. And so all of this is just going to be real time, so we'll see how it goes. I'm not really used to just talking out loud as I do art. Usually I've got music going on, but to avoid copyright purposes and stuff, I'm just going to be doing this without music, though with some post-editing I might add some music in the background or something if it's really boring. So I apologize in advance for that. It's still summertime and it's really warm out, so I don't know if my camera picks up the sound of my air conditioning, which is running right now, so if you hear something like that, that's what it is. So yeah, again, I don't know how to paint, but just playing around and having some fun with it. But definitely, if you have tips for using acrylics, please leave your comments down below. Alright, I'm just trying to get an even layer to make it easier to go over once it dries with the fine liner. Okay. I do have to say that even though I don't really paint a lot, it is very therapeutic to just use a brush and just spread some paint around. And I am using the Plumchester sketchbook, so this is ArtSnacks' own product line. It's not the best in terms of using wet media like paints, but I figure with all of my ArtSnacks challenges, it'd be cool to just have it all, in ArtSnacks' own sketchbook. But maybe in the future, if I decide to do more painting, I will just do it in a more appropriate sketchbook that can handle wet media. Alright, I think I'm going to try mixing some of this. And try to make an orange color. And the tricky thing about acrylics is that they dry really fast. And I'm someone who likes to take my time with things, so can be a bit stressful, just being like, oh my goodness, I'm mixing this paint and now I have to try to apply it as quickly as possible before it dries. So that's just what I'm trying to do right now. Okay, I might have just enough. Let's see if I can make this. Okay. Alright, I think we're good to go. kind of rough around the edges, but it kind of looks cool. It kind of gives it like that painterly feel to it. Alright. But yeah, so this weekend has been pretty chill. I was busy last weekend trying to write up a case report on one of the patients that I had, since they had a really interesting case. So last weekend was pretty drained, but somehow I had managed to put out a video last week. But then this weekend has just been one of those, lazy weekends where you just don't want to do much. But I still wanted to put out a video, and I do have some filming, so I do have like a video that I can put out if I just took some time to do some post-film editing. But I was not in the mood for that today, so I was like, I'll just film something in real time and kind of pilot this Draw With Me mini-series. So yeah, let me know in the comments if this is something that you guys want me to continue, or if you'd prefer more kind of like pre-made videos where I film and then do like voiceovers and stuff like that, as opposed to something that's more improvisational, like what I'm doing right now. Since my channel is still very new and I'm still trying to figure out like what I enjoy most and what kind of content you guys prefer to see. So yeah, if you have any opinions, feel free to let me know in the description or in the comments section. And it looks like I don't have enough yellow because it's drying out on me. So pour a little bit more. But yeah, these packs are like, they look like little juice boxes, which I guess if you have kids around, that's really dangerous. And you just hope that they don't mistake this for like a juice drink or something. Alright. Hopefully by the time I'm done with this yellow, that this red will be pretty dry so that I could start drawing some flowers on it. I love how, as I'm progressively going down the line with these color blocks, that it's just getting messier. But that's okay. That's what art sometimes has to be. It's just messy, and you're just experimenting and just having fun with it. Okay, this one's almost done. Alright, so we're just gonna let these dry a bit so that I can use the fine liner over it. Okay. I don't know if it's, okay, it might be. I think the red is mostly dry. Hopefully it won't ruin the fine liner. But I did get the 0.8 size, which is nice because I feel like the larger the nib size, the more sturdy it is. So that when you're like laying down your lines, you don't have to be as careful with the pressure and making sure that like you don't damage the nib or something like that. I'm just feeling it's a bit damp, but I think for the most part it is dry. We can test it out. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. And again, I don't really draw flowers that often, and so yesterday it was probably the first time when I was trying these flowers based off of the Archer and Olive ones. But yeah, I do bullet journaling, and so I see a lot of Archer and Olive posts on my Instagram feed. And I haven't tried their bullet journals, but they look really nice. I know they advertise that they're like 160 GSM, so they're like perfect for watercolors and other paints if you want to use that for bullet journaling. And I really don't know what I'm doing. I am literally just improvising right now. And at least for me, it's easier to kind of do the stems first just to get a general direction of what I want for these flowers and floral designs. We'll just start with something fairly simple, straightforward. I actually really like the way that this Winsor & Newton fine liner writes over the acrylic paint. It is actually very juicy and very inky, which is nice. The only downside, which I had mentioned in my unboxing video for the ArtSnacks August box, is that it's only water resistant as opposed to waterproof. And so as long as I'm using it on top of paint, I think it's fine. It's if I were to do the fine liner first and then put paint over it, that you risk kind of getting stuff smeared all over the place. And the only thing is that it's smudging because it's not drying fast enough, and I'm not being as careful with where I'm putting my hand to rest. Okay. But yeah, how is your guys' weekend going? Did you do anything fun? Definitely comment below. I think that's one of the hard things about being a YouTuber is that you talk a lot, but then there's like delayed response in what your viewers say, just because like right now I'm talking, but then I have to upload the video first, and then you guys have to watch it and then comment, and so there's like that delay in a conversation, I guess. But I guess I could always like live stream and then get like real-time feedback and stuff. But maybe I will try that another day, or when I've got a little bit more of a following, so that when I'm streaming there's actually people watching and commenting and such. But yeah, the nice thing about these doodles is that they don't require a lot of mental energy, and you can really just do whatever you want with them. It doesn't require a lot of planning, and there's really like no right or wrong way to do these. Like they're kind of like de-stress doodles when you want to make art but you just don't have the energy to put out a masterpiece or anything. So these, I think they look really nice. Maybe I'll just add a little bit of pizzazz. Maybe some dots. I feel like dots are always a nice addition to mostly everything. And it's fun that it's just like you could just sporadically place them, and then like overall it gives a nice look to it. Oh no. Alright, gotta be careful where I put my fingers. I keep forgetting that this doesn't dry that quickly. But I really do like how inky and juicy this fine liner is. Almost to the point that when I was using this on just regular paper, because there's just so much ink, it kind of eats up and tears up the paper. But I think because I have a layer of paint underneath, it kind of protects it. But I am excited to hopefully use this fine liner for some Inktober doodles. I know ArtSnacks has been mentioning a lot of Inktober stuff because their Inktober collection is currently open for pre-orders. And I want to say that I was able to do Inktober last year, or maybe it was the year before that. I think it was the year before that, where I finally did like all 31 days. And granted, I wasn't using like true ink because most of my doodles were like pen drawings. But I'm hoping that because I have a little bit more time this year, that I'll be able to do like kind of real ink drawings for Inktober. I know the first half of it I will probably miss because I'll be away doing my internship, but after that, hopefully I can stay on top of it. There, so we've got our first one. Trying to decide what I want to do for this orange block. I do like the way that these kind of look. And again, like the Archer and Olive ones look amazing. Mine just kind of look like, I don't know, too many leaves. Let's see. So why don't we do kind of two separate ones, kind of like this. And we'll do one like right there. Okay. Looks like they kind of just branch out. Man, I just love the way that black ink, like I don't know if it catches well on camera, but it's just like super glossy looking. Looks really nice. Make them branch out like this. And I'm also not very good at just having side commentary as I'm drawing, since again I'm used to just doing it quietly and just listening to music. But apparently people who talk to themselves are smarter or have a higher IQ or something like that. I remember reading that before somewhere, but that is just not me. And again, I'm completely improvising this, so like this area did not turn out that great, but that's okay. These are mostly just de-stress doodles, kind of like a way to unwind on a Sunday afternoon. And then I have one more week of my acting internship, so just one more week of having to wake up at 4:30 in the morning and getting to the hospital at like 5:30, because after this I will be in an outpatient setting, and so the hours are more standard, like either 8 to 5 or 9 to 5. So nowhere as bad as 5:30 to 7 p.m. Okay, I think these kind of look all right. Been trying to make them symmetrical. And the difficult thing about having my phone as my main recording thing is that it's hard for me to kind of tell if all of this is currently on screen, since I know most YouTube artists use like a real camera to film, and so they are able to kind of flip the viewing screen so they can always see like what is actually being, focused on. But when I finish this, I will try to hold it up and show off the details a bit better, especially because like it's so inky, and like I just cannot stress how nice it looks. And I actually did a similar thing with Posca pens for a card that I'm going to give to one of my patients, since it is my last week, and my patient is likely going to still be here by the end of the week since they're getting chemo, which I'm not sure if I had mentioned in a previous video, but my acting internship is at the Children's Hospital, and I am on the HEMOC ward, so I get to work with patients who are dealing with cancer, and so they're coming in for chemo treatments, but then I also have other patients with blood disorders. But it's been a really great experience. It's something that I'm thinking of going into. And like, yeah, it's really sad to see, you know, kids having to fight cancer and stuff, especially because a lot of the patients on our floor are really, really young. I want to say like most of them are less than 5. But at the same time, I feel like there's a really great opportunity to make a difference, especially because usually during times like this, the patients and their families are very vulnerable, and you get a chance to really make an impact in their lives and, you know, try to give them the best care that you possibly can give them. And so it's been a really great experience. My next 4 weeks after this one, as I had mentioned, I will be outpatient, but I will still be with the blood and cancer disorders, or blood disorders and cancers, but just in an outpatient setting. So like kids coming in for their checkup, or sometimes the chemo treatments can be done in an outpatient setting, if all it is just kind of hanging up the chemotherapy and letting it run through their line. If there aren't really too many side effects that you're afraid of, it could be done in a more like outpatient setting. Say the patient would just come in and just have their chemo treatment, and then they could go home the same day. I'm really liking this black on orange. It is very like Halloween-esque. Kind of just reminding me even more of Inktober. I'm really excited for Inktober because I feel like this is the first time that I'm going to have a little bit more time to do it. Granted, the first half I will be away, but apart from that, it's like, oh, this is the first time that I don't have to worry about school-related things, and like having to study for an exam. Since after my away internship, I will be taking 2 months off from school for interviews and such. And so hopefully that will mean that I have a lot more time. I don't know what I want to do to fill. I feel like there's a lot of space here and here. Maybe I'll just do kind of like mini flowers. Kind of like this. And hope that it looks good. Okay. But yeah, tell me in the comments what you guys have been up to. You know, if you've done any cool things over the summer, or if there are some last minute things that you're trying to get done before summer's over. Like, let me know. I think it's always really fun to be able to interact with you guys in the comments section. Especially because on YouTube, I feel like you have a greater opportunity to do so as opposed to other social media forms where it doesn't feel as interactive. Like you might see a post, but then you just keep scrolling. Whereas with a YouTube video, you know, you could choose to spend time to watch the video and then comment and all of that stuff. I don't know how that looks, but since I already did it here, I feel like I have to continue it over here. Alright, and then I guess I could add some dots, make it look a little bit better. I don't know. A lot of art involves just improvising and basically just learning from your mistakes or just as you go, kind of like a learning curve, but very low stress. Okay. And the last thing, I really like these leaves that I did in this background, so I think I'm going to try that on here. But before that, let me show up close what this looks like so far. I don't know if you could see the shine of the black ink, but it looks very nice. Alright, and then one last one with the yellow. Okay, how do I want to do this one? Maybe just one long, like this. And then I think I will just branch out kind of like a one thing. But yeah, this fine liner is actually holding up really well on top of this paint. I know sometimes with the thinner fine liner sizes, you could definitely risk messing up the nib. But I think I got lucky that I got a 0.8 size, so the nib is definitely a lot sturdier and can handle drawing on top of much rougher surfaces. Okay. You can see I'm getting black all over my hands because I'm just not being careful enough in where I'm putting my hands down and forgetting that this ink takes some time to dry. Because during the weekday when I'm writing my patient notes or like just writing stuff in general, I have the Pentel Energel X, I believe that's what it's called, and it's kind of like a mixture between a regular like ballpoint pen slash like gel pen-ish, kind of like those Pilot G2 pens where it's like really inky gel pen-ish ink. But my point with that is that I've been using that for when I'm at the hospital, and it's really inky, but it dries incredibly fast, even though it's kind of like a gel-based ink. And I think I've taken that for granted, and now I'm forgetting that I need to be careful where I'm putting my hands because this fine liner takes some more time to dry, which isn't a bad thing because it is incredibly inky and I really like it. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to use it during Inktober. Maybe I should start planning where I'm putting these branches or leaves. I don't know if I like the way that these two kind of, like they got squashed together. But it's okay, I still have half of this to fill and maybe I could make up for it. We'll see. Why don't I start from down here, kind of add this leaf. And definitely let me know if you guys like this kind of video where it's more of a low stress, just kind of draw with me in real time, and I'm just kind of talking to myself. But I know sometimes people like to do things with kind of background noise, because I know I do that a lot too. Is that if I am drawing, I'll either listen to music or I will have kind of like a YouTube video running in the background with like commentary, just for some background noise. That or just watching Let's Plays. So I'm currently watching the Nyan Cave go through Kingdom Hearts 3. For the longest time I held off because I wanted to play the game myself, but I have only gotten through the Tangled world, and now that I'm back on campus, I probably won't be able to play it again until like December when I go back home for winter break, since I left my PS4 and Kingdom Hearts 3 game at my parents' house. And so I only get to play it sporadically whenever I'm home, like during the breaks. And so I've kind of given up on trying to play the game myself first before watching other people play it. But at this point, I was like, it's gonna be forever. And I feel like, at this point, I'm kind of tired of having to have like a whitelist of all Kingdom Hearts related terms on social media. So that's what I've been doing lately, is just watching the Neon Cave playthrough Kingdom Hearts 3 and have that kind of in the background while I work. And it's great because they decided to do an entire kind of blind playthrough of the entire Kingdom Hearts series leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3. And so it was really great just being able to catch up on everything that has happened in Kingdom Hearts so far. I have played all of the games to date, I believe, in their original consoles, with the exception of Point 2, which I think was for the PS4. But apart from that, I have played all the games, but I played them when they first came out, so it had been a really long time. And so it was really great just being able to watch them play through the entire Kingdom Hearts series, kind of as a recap leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3. But I think it's also really neat that they do a blind, like completely blind playthrough of it, and just being able to see their reactions to it. Because it's kind of like when you're really passionate about something and then you watch other people, go through a series that you're really passionate about, and being able to see, just their expressions as they go through the game. I think it's just a really cool thing. So yeah, that's what I've been doing lately, just watching Let's Plays. That's actually what I've picked up since starting med school. I think that's like my new hobby, is just watching people do Let's Plays and living vicariously through them, because I don't have time to play these games myself. But I think after I finish watching them go through Kingdom Hearts 3, I believe they are starting kind of like a Final Fantasy blind playthrough of maybe all of the games. I think they're starting on 6 right now, but kind of like leading up to Final Fantasy VII's remake. They are going to try to play through as many Final Fantasy games as possible. And I have actually never played Final Fantasy VII. I do have the PS1 game, just never got around to playing it. My first Final Fantasy game was actually 10. And then after that I played 10-2, and I've played 12. I played most of Dissidia 1. I don't know if you would consider that as Final Fantasy, but it has the Final Fantasy characters in it, so it kind of counts. But yeah, I really wanted to play 13, since that one seemed really cool, but never got around to it. Final Fantasy 15 was also one that I was really excited about, way back when it was still supposed to be part of the whole Final Fantasy 13 like universe, before it became its own thing. But I feel like that one has so many downloadable episodes and stuff that it kind of is off-putting, because for me, like, if I want to play a video game, I want to be able to just play it all like in a single game. Like, I don't want to have to purchase downloadable content that gets released throughout the year. But maybe one of these days I will just watch a Let's Play of it, just to see just the gameplay and the storyline and stuff. Okay. I love how, like, this side seems more organized, and then this side I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm just trying to fill the space, but it doesn't look that great. I don't know. It is what it is. I think overall it still looks really cool to have kind of like a color background and then just like this bold black design on top. Alright, I am almost done. But yeah, if you guys have been drawing along, let me know what you've been doing, or if you're doing something else with me in the background, definitely comment. Let me know, what you guys have been up to. Let me know how your weekend's been going. Anything that you're looking forward to this week. I know for me it's kind of like, oh, it's my last week doing this acting internship, so I look forward to being able to sleep some more. It's definitely hard having to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, especially when you come home really late, like at 7, because it's like, well, I can't do caffeine, so I rely heavily on sleep, which means when I come home, I have time to shower and then eat dinner and then maybe read up on my patients or do some last minute prepping for the following day. And then I try to keep up with my mobile games, which unfortunately they all have like daily login content bonus stuff, and so I always feel obligated to at least log in once a day just to claim my bonuses. And by the time I do all of that, it's already like 9:30, and I'm like, well, I have to sleep so I can wake up at 4:30 and not feel completely exhausted, especially if I'm going to be spending a ton of time at the hospital. I seriously cannot get over how black and how like richly pigmented this Winsor & Newton fine liner is. It is just very nice. And we are almost done. I think I'll add maybe like one or two more of these leaves. Alright, I think it turned out pretty good overall. Maybe I'll just add one here to kind of use up this extra space. But yeah, if this is something that you guys enjoyed watching, definitely let me know below in the comments, and I'll be sure to continue this kind of mini series where I just draw in real time and just chat. And if you like this content, feel free to subscribe and hit that bell in the corner so that you get notified every time a video comes up. And we'll just do a close-up of each one. So here's the red one, and then the orange and the yellow. But yeah, thanks again guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Definitely let me know in the comments what you thought about it. If you'd prefer to see more stuff like this, or if you prefer just kind of the other content that I've been putting out. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great upcoming week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!